Perhaps it wasn't the only thing dropped into the Erdensee. Another tale has emerged of mysterious goods dumped into the water.
There was a forester who told us there was an Alpine hut here, and a high-ranking SS officer had come to get the key. And then they went down and took stuff out of the hut to the middle of the lake. And then they dumped it there. Now, we didn't find anything because there is so much mud there. It's really difficult to find anything.
The Erdensee is relatively flat, carpeted in a thick layer of mud that would swallow a heavy object, like a box full of gold. It's also a nature reserve, and diving is usually strictly verboten. Tentative permission was given for a search of the lake. From a boat loaded with state-of-the-art radar scanning equipment. And a GPS locator, which would record the precise position of any object detected in the mud. A radar map of the lake floor revealed a box-like shape in the mud. Was this Otto Skorzény's gold? Austrian forestry officials were unimpressed and forbade any diving. At least one historian is also highly skeptical.
This is all a myth, and it's all driven by this perception of Indiana Jones. This is a good story for a Hollywood film, definitely, but has nothing at all to do with history. We know that they sometimes try to hide the gold, but this was recovered quite quickly.
But legends like that of Skorzény's loot won't die. If a fortune in Nazi gold was dumped in the lake, perhaps it's already been recovered and spent. After the war, SS commando leader Otto Skorzeny left his native Austria for good, to enjoy an apparently wealthy life.
Skorzeny was put into a prisoner of war camp. He was there for approximately 3 years, I believe, 2 or 3 years. And ultimately, he just walked out of the prisoner of war camp and disappeared until he resurfaced in Spain in 1950, at which point he seemed to be much richer than he had been previously.
Otto Skorzeny was interviewed at his holiday home in Mallorca in 1973. Ruled by the fascist dictator Franco, Spain was a safe haven for unrepentant Nazis.
It is every soldier's duty to lengthen the war, to hold out as long as he has the order to do so. Whether that is sensible is for posterity to decide. I don't think we have quite reached that point yet. Personally, I don't regret it.
Would you do the same things again today?
I can tell you that I would do the same things again in exactly the same way today.
2 years later, the smoker died of lung cancer, farewelled by fellow Nazis unashamedly proffering the Hitler salute. Skorzeny took any secrets of Nazi gold to the grave.
This is again part of the secret story and the true Nazis living in Madrid and being millionaires because of the Nazi gold. No, it's very unlikely. It's definitely not possible that he had 2 tons of gold with him in his suitcase and then flying to Madrid.
Back around the German Alpine town of Garmish, the hunt for fabled Nazi gold goes on. It was here in June 1945 that American troops recovered more than 700 bars of pure, refined bullion. the horde was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. All that's left is a hole in the forest floor. Yet treasure hunters still dream of finding a mother lode, similar to that unearthed by victorious Allied troops. The riches that were recovered were transferred to a special Allied commission.
A lot of the treasure was found in the 1940s, but an awful lot of treasure just disappeared. Some of it was stolen, some of it may very well be still there. And somebody, one day, might just find some of it.
It's a prospect that continues to tantalize treasure hunters in the hills and lakes of the Alpine region, once thought to form an Alpine fortress. But the Alpenfestung was a myth. There was no fortress, and no heroic last stand in the mountains of Germany and Austria. Like the Alpine fortress, the legends of Nazi gold also seem to be no more than a myth. Yet the scouring of crags and crannies goes on. German and Austrian lakes have produced a variety of Nazi relics. Tons of wartime detritus have been recovered from the deep waters of the Toplitzsee. Bombs, mines, and rockets, but no boxes of gold.
You don't put a gold treasure into a deep lake because it's just impossible to recover that thing. So it's very unlikely, very, very unlikely that in some